Hello and welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen. This is POD.VODKA, an English podcast with a Russian flavor. My name is Sergey, and yet again, I'm here to bother my colleagues in this desperate time of social distancing. For my personal pleasure and hopefully for yours as well. Joining me today, a UK representative from Canada, a modest guy who was looking into a distance from the stage of the Oscars, a fellow gamer and a funny guy in general, Mr. Jules. How are you, sir?
Hello, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Well, and we end in podcasts right now. Thank you, guys. See you later. No, that was a very odd introduction, but okay. I mean, we both work in.
Depends where people are.
We both. That's right. That's smart. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll take that back. It's not a serious podcast for those of you who are tuning in. So we don't have any webcams. We basically cover all the topics that we're interested in, and feeling that from the comfort of our houses. So basically, but it will be silly not to stumble upon the elephant in the room, who's very, very sick at the moment and losing weight rapidly, but mainly the VFX field. So Jules, why VFX? How you ended up here?
Why VFX is a good question. I do wonder that myself sometimes. I guess I didn't go to university, so I was like kind of doing odd jobs and wondering what to do with my life. And I found like an online course or of sort of learn 3D. So I just jumped into that basically and kind of did a course in London called Escape Studios, and basically it was kind of a bare bones, guide to, or like a visual effects kind of course. And from there, I just did like little odd jobs and short films and some corporate stuff until eventually, luckily enough, got into film. I was kind of like at a point, a point just before getting into film where I was considering games. Went for an interview and for a games company, but didn't work out. So ended up going into films basically.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe we both should kind of rethink our priorities at the moment during the COVID crisis. But yeah, was there any particular moment that you say, "Damn it, I want to do that for a living"?
100%. Lord of the Rings.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Which one?
That. The Fellowship.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then, basically, I bought the DVDs, the extended DVDs, and I don't know if you've watched that, but there's like a kind of 4-hour documentary for each movie, just documenting the whole process of making the movies. Have you watched this?
Yeah, I remember. I remember I watched some masterclass based on that. I think it was Dylan Cole or somebody.
Well, there's basically like, I don't know, a film crew just going around documenting every single stage of making Lord of the Rings. From the catering all the way to the visual effects. It's really interesting watch, and I was kind of like, definitely that's piqued my interest.
Okay, and then after that you say, okay, I want to do that, and then what? And then you get put up.
And then
courses.
I applied for a games company.
Okay. Yeah, logical thing,
course,
as you do, obviously. Okay.
Yeah, because I had a guy I did the course in London with went to Radical Games, I think it's called.
Okay.
Is it Radical Games? Free Radical, something like that. They made the older Battlefront games. So I applied there. It's up in Nottingham. It didn't work out, but I just kind of, it's, the skills are kind of transferable, so.
You mean the old Battlefront, the Star Wars Battlefront?
Exactly, the original ones.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude, I remember that. It was back in time in Russia. We don't have a lot of PC and internet at homes, but we did have the internet cafes. So after school, we all go there and just play Star Wars Battlefront.
God, yeah.
That was marvelous times. people who growing up right away, I mean, currently, and having all the benefits of having the internet at home and the nice computer. Oh, dude,
They have no idea, do they?
Yeah, that was a very nostalgic time even
I mean,
now.
we have similar age, I guess. And like I went through the whole internet um, infancy of like 56K modems and all that good jazz.
Well, I mean, the
Pay,
problem is it's actually a good example because we'll kind of compare the cultures as well because we apparently go away from VFX topic quite rapidly. But never mind that. The fact that Russia was always slightly behind in terms of technology because the
oh,
internet
sure,
started developing in the US, right, and then jumped across the ocean to other parts of the world. But we're not necessarily picked it up right away, so
indeed.
we have some sort of delay. So actually, the internet, I think, at least came into my life through the my parents' work because they were working in the institute. So it's like a governmental facility, and most of the Russian governmental facilities were the first one to adapt this
Okay,
feature of having the internet connection. So
sure.
basically, after school, after the work is done at my parents, I go there and just sit there and just go to internet with a magnificent, exactly. Learning words together with POD.VODKA. With a magnificent speed of I don't even know how many megabits per second because it was very slow. But basically, yeah, that was the first time we'll have to actually engage into all the pleasureness available. Well, that sounds very inappropriate,
Well,
but you know what I'm talking about. All the information. Of course, yeah, I'm talking about information, guys. Information. Because internet is for information, remember that.
Of course, not
Yeah.
JPEG images downloaded very slowly.
Yeah, and sometimes they just broken. That's it. And then they'll
Well,
download this.
I have memories of sitting in my friend's house, and him shouting down to his mum, "I have £1 more, just let us go for another hour," because we would literally pay by the hour or by the minute.
Oh man.
It was like 10 pence a minute, or something like that.
Yeah, well, now it's actually the exchange is a bit different, obviously, right now. So I have no idea how it's going to be transferable in Russia,
Sure.
Especially at that time. But now sitting at home with 1 gigabit internet, and it's like everything instantly available. You want to play a game? Oh, it's 50 gigabytes. No matter, 12 minutes, done.
Exactly.
So back in the times, actually, I don't remember the most. I think World of Warcraft, even though it was much later date, but still World of Warcraft,
Yeah.
to download that, I have to spend sometimes entire day just waiting for it to download and then to...
Well, I remember like the original Counter-Strike. I downloaded it like with 56K modem, and it would cut out after like an hour, the internet. So like I had to try to the moment like so every hour it'd reset. So I'd have to wait for like the reset. Then I would click the download, and it was 30 megabytes, like something like 30 meg, and I would have to like wait for it to finish, and it got to like 99%, and the internet cut out.
That was
Yeah,
the the unfortunate events of our youth, let's call it that way.
yeah, pretty much. But
By
also
the-
exciting times.
Yeah, by the way, you can open the Twitch stream and you will be able to see all the chat messages from all over the world, well, so to speak. So actually,
Cool.
guys, let's hello to each other really quickly. Trump TM, MST Shambler, Nage, our Eagle, our moderator, Demind, who left us promptly because he decided that English is too complicated for him. Thunder Bobber, DS Sentinel. I think I mentioned everybody. Feel free to chat with each other and for my questions, we're going to take them later. But for now, we'll just continue our talk of no particular subject whatsoever. Actually, let's quickly get back to VFX, I think, because
Oh, sure.
we're going to rapidly lose the audience on LinkedIn if I'm going to post that to reach some view. Anyway, yeah, so you went for a video game company after you saw the Lord of the Rings movie and decided that you want to do that.
Yeah, it's it was more like I knew someone at a company, which was like a foot in the door. So that's kind of like why I went with that. But yeah, like the initial whole thing was to go for film.
Any particular why not stay in the game though? Because I'm pretty sure since I know you to this extent, that having a career in game dev, even now, it's well,
It's
especially
better.
now actually, yeah, it's much better. So
I know.
I was wondering, why didn't you decide, hey, why don't I just stay there?
Well, I didn't actually get the job, so that was
Oh, okay, that
wah.
was what a
Yeah.
twist.
So
Stay
yeah, that
tuned
was
for more.
yeah. It was my first interview, which ended miserably. Um, but yeah, I mean, a few years later, the company went bust. So, in hindsight, maybe it was the best thing.
So after that, you just became a freelancer of some sort.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Living and working in London, basically, doing odd projects, kind of short films, as I mentioned, and corporate stuff. I worked for a render farm for a few years. This was like a render farm for hire for visual effects, and
So where you lend your PC to render effects and
yeah, I was
or
basically helping to run the farm, so setting up renders and setting them off. We also had like a post-production suite, which was for color grading. So I was kind of involved with setting that up and managing clients and all this stuff. So I learned a lot of stuff, like how to deal with clients and stuff like that from
interesting
from
approach
that.
though, because I wouldn't go specifically for that if I wanted to learn this particular skill of interacting with client. You know what? I'm gonna do render farm management because there's no workaround. They have to use render farm.
I know. I mean, it was like I sort of fell into that through a friend, and just kind of, it was paying fairly well, so I just stuck at it for a few years until I found it was kind of time to move on to do something more creative. And then, a friend of mine was working at MP, the current company that we work for.
You briefly. Okay, I think you can mention it right now, because what's the point? Hey,
Okay.
he mentioned two letters. I wonder which is the first one or the third one. Yeah, okay.
Okay, yeah, NPC. So yeah, friend working there, and basically got in through that. It's always with these things. It's often about someone like someone who can introduce you to someone who might take a look at your demo reel. Just because it's very competitive, and you can kind of get lost in the
Well, I would say most of the professions nowadays, especially, is quite competitive, because
yeah, sure.
me personally, I started as I majored in economics and power engineering. That has nothing to do with whatever I'm doing at the moment.
Of course.
And then I just got bored in my second year of master degree in Paris, and I said, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. And I just switched to motion design, and after motion design, I switched to DMP. But that was because I had the hobby of doing stuff in After Effects throughout my high school and university. So it was basically right there. I just needed to switch to whatever I wanted to do for all time, instead of like doing for boring economics. Although it was nice. I think it's overall the education is a good thing to have in your background. I'm not really sure I would be able to get a job even if I didn't have the background, because I have no idea about the laws in Canada regarding that. For that, you have to tune to another podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know which one, but not this one in particular.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't have any university degree, so Canada let me in.
Yeah, but I'm curious if that would make a difference or not.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure.
Because it's fun fact that a lot of, especially foreigners that I meet at work, most of them have some sort of art-related degree. So they either were studying traditional art or going for animation to begin with, or some VFX-related school or program. But a lot of guys from post-Soviet countries, their specialty has nothing to do with VFX whatsoever. So it's like airplane design, or the well, myself economics. Maybe somebody else that has mostly mathematicians, or something related with physics. Have you noticed that a lot of side effects Houdini specialists are Russians?
I have noticed this.
This is very interesting, but very
How?
peculiar, I would say.
You wonder what that is? What's
I think it's the background basically. A lot of Russians who studied the math related classes find themselves in a scenario. Okay, I cannot apply it in that many fields, but it seems like this one particularly is very interesting, and it's very easy to get into since like okay, if you do just Vex, for example, coding, okay, easy, I can do it already. So I'll just learn that C family language easily and just switch myself into that.
How is your coding, by the way?
Well, I don't have a math background.
Okay.
So for me, it's like I'm a hybrid basically. I have the good basics in economics. Well, not basics, but bases, I would say, in economics, math,
foundation.
physics. Yeah, okay, that's a nice word for it. Foundation. I'm a how to say, the jack of all trades, master of none, basically.
Oh, that's my role, but not in coding.
So we are competitors then, unfortunately.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, this is why I think I really want to do Houdini at the moment. But in the long term, I think, well, you might notice that I just really enjoy talking to people, and that's it. I can just stand all day near my desk and just talk to people, bother them. So that's why we have this English podcast.
If I'm not busy, I'll just have a good banter. But yeah, if I'm busy, I'm like head down. Well,
I think most of the people like this. I mean, because when you're busy, you're dedicated your 100% of your attention to it.
I do miss it, stuck in at home, not seeing anyone else.
I don't know. For me, guys, nothing changed so far, actually. Basically, well, I stopped attending work physically. I mean, I'm still working from home, but physically I don't go anywhere.
Allegedly.
Sure. Okay. That was slightly alarming, but okay.
Well, we're not working on the same show, so I don't know anything.
But I mean, my point was that nothing changed for me apart from that, because I was staying at home to begin with anyway. So after work, I just go home and that's it. I don't go to parties. I hate parties. I don't care about those sort of things. So I have 220 titles on Steam, ladies and gentlemen. I'm okay. I have plenty of things to do at my home. But yeah.
Yes, I mean, I have a similar number.
Yeah, we compared for our audience right now. We compared with Jules our quantities of packages of entertainment in the terms of Steam games, and I must admit to defeat because he actually had more than me. So I thought 220 is plenty, but it's not plenty enough apparently.
Yeah, I have a soft spot for indie games, so.
Oh, the same as me actually.
I'll try a lot of them, and some of them I just won't get. I'm always looking for the next FTL. I don't know if you know FTL.
Yeah, Faster Than Light, obviously.
Of course.
I mean, I never played it, but I'm sure
What?
I know. I don't know. I just that's my thing. I know a lot about games, but I don't necessarily play all of them. So
yeah, sure.
If I bought every game that I liked and I know of, I would probably defeat you easily.
Okay.
Empty Shambler. Sorry, I just quickly read that. I'm working from home no matter if it's quarantine or not. The room next to my bedroom is my working place. Well, that's what most people who working in some digital, field now experiencing. Fortunately for them, because if they were like basically, I don't know, a baker, that would probably be troublesome. Because you won't be able to do digital, baking unless you bake textures or whatever.
I have a baker friend actually in London. He's considered an essential worker, so.
So he's just working basically.
Working normally, yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, some of the specialities currently, especially like doctors and all other stuff, are working, but I think we're lucky enough at the moment. Still not super lucky because it could change easily at the stroke of a pen of certain guys. But yeah, for now I think we're lucky enough. What about sport? Recently you said you have a gym in the building you live in, right? Yeah, well, I do have a gym, but it's closed now, obviously, for contagious measures. But I managed to buy the dip station. Do you know that, Jules? The portable dip station?
Dip station?
Yeah, so basically it's two metal curls that you do dips on.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I was very lucky to buy them 1 week before they actually closed down everything.
Oh wow.
So I
Okay.
ordered them through Amazon, and Amazon first said, "Okay, you're gonna get them at the end of the April." And I said, "No, that's well, that's I mean, nothing I can do basically." But I apparently since a lot of people experiencing the same thing and they canceled or whatever, I got in the beginning of the queue and I get them like the next day easily.
Wow, that's a
Yeah, that
relief.
was yeah. But I mean, sport wise, I'm a fanatic to some extent. I do it like 6 days a week.
Oh geez.
Well, I mean,
I'm lucky to do one or two
per what period of time?
a week.
Well, I mean, you can do a couple more, I think.
Oh, I
'Cause
should.
yeah, you probably should. I think everybody should because we're now stuck at home. We don't move around much.
Indeed.
So unless you have, this the fit band on your wrist that tells you, "Hey, you time to move," and you just stand up regularly and walk around your apartment, probably better if you add a couple more exercise
Indeed.
days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's
Just doing some walking though, which is every now and again as well.
well, depends how big your apartment is. I don't know. I mean,
No,
it
no,
probably
outside.
gets outside. Okay. I forgot that you. Yeah, we can actually leave the house because in Russia, I think apparently we cannot. I'm
Oh,
not
really?
really sure, but guys from Russia, can you please confirm that? But because now you have to have actual access card, well, card in quote unquote, so that in order to leave and to go about your work or any other particular goals that you have to
Interesting.
achieve. So and the police officers will check up whether you have this access card to leave your apartment or not. So that will be interesting. You don't miss your achievements on Steam. Maybe you regret that you changed the game to work. I don't really understand the question though, Tramp TM. Jules, do you understand the
You
question?
don't remind me.
Okay, Tramp TM, rephrase that please because I have no idea what you're talking about. We can leave our apartments to get to closest stores or drug stores, walk out dogs.
Okay.
Okay. Well, it's okay, fairly enough. Because I thought you have to have access to do that. In Moscow and St. Petersburg, and here none of this exists. Huh. Okay. But I'm sure I heard of this. I'm not really sure where it is.
In the UK, I know you're only allowed out for one exercise a day, and it has to
What?
be within like a mile of your house.
Oh, you mean outside?
Outside, yeah.
Well, it's still okay. One exercise a day is fine. But how do they control it though?
It's a good question. They rely on neighbors calling each other, calling the police.
I like ratting each other out. Wow, that's a very neighborly thing to do.
It's building community cohesion.
Is it though?
No, I was being sarcastic.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's really hard for me to understand sarcasm and other people's jokes. I'm very serious when it comes to this. Although I joke a lot myself, but I mean, when people tell a joke to me, it's like, yeah, so.
Also,
like,
we can't see each other's face, so that helps, right?
Sometimes, sure, not really for me, especially because I'm very bad at reading people's emotion. They can, obviously saying some joke to me, and I was like, oh really? Wow, that's unfortunate. Dude, yes, I'm sorry to hear that. I heard in Moscow it's really dangerous to get out from your flat, but in some places in Russia you may walk almost everywhere. Well, because in Moscow there's a spike right now. It's like 20,000 people or something like that, where in either region is, I think, 20% of that or even less. So I'm not surprised here. Jules, what was actually the last game you were playing?
The last game I was playing... Oh,
that takes a while.
Rainbow Six Siege, are you familiar with it?
Well, yeah, but I'm not really a fan of the FPS. I think I told you that before, but it's
yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious why people. I mean, obviously why, because they enjoy the game. But
it's competitive.
So you do the esports part of it, basically.
Well, no, I mean it's ranked, so it's not like I'm not actually part of the esports, but it's like a Counter-Strike. You play competitively.
What? No, I know. I summarize it as esports. So whatever games that it has the esports element to it, I just call it an esports. So we can put Counter-Strike, StarCraft, any RTS, Dota like games and whatever.
Of course, esports. So, okay, yeah. That's a fair.
I'm just I'm a person who like to sit back, relax, and play some either indie games or single player, or maybe with the exception of Rocket League. So that was a bit
Oh,
of
well,
a
that's
fun.
competitive, yeah.
Yeah, but that's a fun game to me. So you don't
Yeah.
have to know anything. It's just mechanics. You get used to it, you get better. You not get used to it, well, you can go play some other games.
Well, there's also playing Mario Odyssey on the Switch.
Oh,
So that's maybe more down your alley.
I don't own any consoles. I'm against consoles. I'm PC gamer all the way. I'm just.
So for your whole career, let's say?
Yeah, I mean, the last time I was playing console game, it was back in 2000s, I think. So very early in
okay.
high school.
PlayStation 2?
What? No, dude, come on. It was the Chinese version of Nintendo Entertainment System, NES, that we had in Russia. And then later, my friend got the very first Sega Genesis. So I was visiting him and we were playing that. But yeah, apart from that, I don't remember playing any consoles on the daily basis, so to speak. I think that's why we can. At that time, it was rather expensive to have those. So I did have classmates now and then when they have like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, then obviously later PlayStation 3, but no, never I experienced a need of purchasing that myself for some reason. I don't know. It just feels alien to me to have some sort of a gamepad. The keyboard and mouse, it's like, yeah, this is the far as I can go.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like sometimes it's nice to just sit on your couch, not in your desk chair, you know, and just sit
well,
back.
that depends on the desk chair. I mean, back in Russia, I had very comfy ones. Here, obviously, it's a bit. For now, since I have no idea what's gonna happen next, I don't, have any anchorage at the moment, so I don't want to buy expensive chairs on the off chance that I'm gonna be staying here. But
yeah, I'm currently sat in a very uncomfortable dining chair, which is my office chair now.
Really?
Yeah. So
dining chair. You don't have any other chairs at all?
No.
Wow.
Yeah. My back has been fairly ravaged these last few weeks.
Well, I do have. Do you have a foam roll? Because I do have this. This thing is awesome, dude.
A what? Sorry, foam roll.
Foam roll. Yeah, basically it's a
it's
a roll made of foam.
Yes.
And you put it on the ground, and then you roll with your back on it.
Oh, okay.
And then you can just do exercises to stretch your vertebrae.
Yes.
Especially at the end of the day, that's amazing. It just gets off all the misalignments that you acquire throughout the day, and sometimes there's several. Yeah, I'm really upset that we don't have that at work. Well, first of all, it's uncomfortable to do it at work, and it's dirty floor and stuff. But at home, I do it like. What?
Might get some looks.
I don't. Well, let's be honest. You know me. I'm not the person who will be, very bothered with this.
No, of course.
So it's like I'll be the person who will give the looks to somebody who's looking at me while I'm doing it.
Yeah, so, fair enough.
Yeah, what's wrong? Never see a foam roll? But yeah, apart from that, I can also recommend you a needle mat.
A needle mat? I'm going to Google this.
It's a needle mat. So it's roughly 45 centimeters by 15 centimeters. So it's a medical rubber with hundreds of needles made from different metals. So it's a copper, zinc, iron. So basically the thing is that you lie down on this needle mat and it creates very, very low electric current between the needles. So basically from zinc to copper through your body as a catalyst, right?
Okay.
I mean, I'm not a chemist, so please don't quote me on that. But apparently this is charge your back and warm it up and let the muscles relax. So I'm doing like every time before I go to bed. Awesome stuff. Although it might be painful at first, but you'll get used to it.
When does the crystal come out?
I'm sorry, what?
The crystal.
The crystal? I'm not cooking meth, dude. What are you talking about?
No, like the healing rocks.
The healing rocks.
It sounds a little.
Okay, yeah. You've seen our unorthodox, methodic. Yeah. Well, exactly. It actually works. Trust me.
Okay.
I mean, it's not that expensive. So the thing is, it was very widespread in Russia, especially among elder ones.
Oh, okay.
Because obviously their backs usually were well, not in good condition since
course.
they work at the garden, all the retirement. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure whether it's a very Russian thing or not. So after you retire, just go to the countryside and just work on the garden every day.
As a forced?
No,
Or
it's no. It's not
just
forced. It's not like
pleasure.
every it's Russian government. Okay, we have a deficit of bread. You go and you farm it after you retire. No, that's it's just I think people just get some weird feeling of enjoyment. It's very alien to me. I really hate that. But
Well, my parents are sort of semi-retired, but they they have a garden in their at the back in the back garden, and they basically just grow vegetables and look after plants and stuff. So they do
well,
that.
it's the same thing, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I guess it's a universally acclaimed
It is.
way of feeling. I don't know, not important, but how do you
Something, and
say?
it's a little bit of exercise.
Meaningful. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, exercise-wise, I'm not really sure because you bend over and you stay like that for quite a long time. I'm not really sure it's very helpful for the back.
Well, it's better than just sitting in a chair, I guess.
oh,
But
obviously.
yeah, maybe not for the back. Maybe
Yeah,
not.
but
for
still, yeah. For anybody who's listening, try to Google this needle mat. It also has a name of Lyapko, Lyapka. Oh no, KO. Sorry. Try to Google that. Lyapko applicator. Yeah, you probably will find it. It's pretty easy, and I think it's like $40 or something, roughly. But it's a really nice thing. It helped me a lot. Because after that, I just fall asleep like this. So normally, I put it. So it's like.
How long do you lie on it for?
So it's basically a line, right? So it's like a rectangular. So I
But
put
like
it
for how long?
No. I'm explaining that.
Oh,
Trust me. I know what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm not a
did
doctor.
understand my question.
Yeah, I'm not a doctor, but I can give you a review basically of this particular product.
Okay,
By the
I'm
way,
all
I don't
ears.
receive any benefits whatsoever, so please don't blame me for any commercial.
This
although,
podcast is sponsored by Lyapko.
yeah. Although if Lyapko applicator want to sponsor my podcast, I would be happy to because this thing works, guys. Okay. So yeah, this is a rectangular rubber thing as I explained before, but you put it on each side from the spine basically. So the spine is a 0 axis, right? Mm-hmm. And you put it on every side and you lie down for roughly like 15-20 minutes, and after that I can just fall asleep within 5 minutes.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really really nice because basically I already, so when I lie down on it, I use the my phone to watch some YouTube meanwhile,
Yeah.
and usually at the time halfway through the second side, my phone starts to fall from my hands already because I'm falling asleep, and then I think,
Jeez.
okay, time to get it over with, and then I just close it down and just fall asleep normally. So
And
this is
wow, I might have to investigate.
yeah, especially if you have some issues with the back, lower back in particular, that thing really works. I mean, some people, it's very, I suggest it to some of my friends as well to use it. Some of them experience painful cessation and they didn't want to go through with it, but the others who actually went through with it were very happy with it. So it's kind of, it depends of how high you can tolerate. So basically, roughly you have to tolerate 5 minutes at first because it's your first time, right?
Yeah.
But every second time it will be less painful and then you get used to it. No problem. So.
Okay.
But it is a good thing, trust me.
I'll definitely look into it.
Yeah. Dr. Ray in the chat. It still is widespread, mentioning probably the gardening thing in Russia.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure of it. I'm pretty sure it's a quarantine in Russia, but every retired person just went straight to their countryside and just stuck in there.
Well, like
I might as well do some potato thing then.
friends of mine in England are saying they've never seen so many old people cycling before.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm not really sure this will be the case for Russia, though. Because I never see, apart from countryside, I never see a lot of old people cycling at all. It's like you never see an old man eating a Twix.
Yeah, you don't see that.
Yeah, so have you seen Ricky Gervais show, by the way, since we're on the subject?
Which one?
Well, the old one, the Sirius XM podcast.
Oh, no.
Oh, dude. I'm surprised. You're from London. You should know that.
Well, I mean, I've seen like Infinite Monkey Cage. Infinite Monkey.
What?
What's it called? Monkey News?
Well, Monkey News is the segment of that particular podcast.
Ah,
but
okay. Yeah,
with
that's why I have seen it.
Carl Pilkington. For
Yes,
those of
so
you
I have
guys
heard
who can understand us, I'm talking about probably not for the Russian audience, but still, try to Google Ricky Gervais show or Carl Pilkington with a K. So
I'm a huge fan.
This individual is priceless. I mean,
It is.
well,
kind.
because me and Jan were talking about this all the time. This the things that he says is amazing.
Indeed.
I really wish I have that friend that could entertain me for hours just by talking nonsense.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
it is amazing. Very entertaining. Have you? He does a show called Idiot
Sick
Abroad.
Of it? Idiot Abroad. Sure. I saw 2 seasons at least. First one and second one. I remember even his trip to Russia though. It was pretty funny. But
the one he goes to Brazil,
oh man,
and he goes into the parade. He's just totally out of his element.
Yeah, I'm gonna spell it on the web chat on the chat, so you guys can Google it later. There you go. But yeah, for me personally, I prefer to. Have you seen The Long Way Round?
I have seen bits of it. Is that the Ewan McGregor?
Yeah. But because they spent considerable amount of time traveling through Ukraine and Russia, so that's why I was enjoying that a bit more. Because Carl Pilkington is 40 minutes roughly and done. Mm-hmm. But those guys have to experience all the things that Russian driver experience on a daily basis. My
God. I mean, as you know, YouTube's filled with Russian driving videos.
With the dash cams, we will like our dash cams. This is the whole segment.
Crazy stuff. Have you driven in Russia yourself?
I don't have a driver license, so that would be problematic a bit, probably.
Is it? Are all the myths true?
Which ones?
Well, the dangerous driving.
To be honest, I think not really, because I remember I was in China in 2011, and that was whole different level of dangerous driving. Oh, really? I was surprised that no one actually hit each other, but they just, honking constantly, and it's like watching ants running around with and don't know where to go, basically.
But it somehow works out, right?
Exactly. That's amazing. The skills Chinese people have. I mean, I don't want to be a racist, but this is how I, perceived this particular situation.
Well, I was in Vietnam many years ago, and it was a similar thing, except not with cars, but with mopeds.
Oh yeah. Well, I think Asian countries do like their mopeds.
It's just like complete chaos, and if you want to cross the road, you just go for it. You just start walking, and people will just go around you.
Yeah. Well, apart from that, I think Russian driving is slightly more dangerous than average one. Although we have to have a baseline, then I don't know which you consider. UK is the base one in this particular example.
I guess.
I was in UK in 2006. I don't remember any particular, incidents involving vehicles, so I have no idea.
It's pretty alright there. People are fairly sensible, I guess.
I actually remember a very funny story involving, well, not Russians in particular, but people from Kazakhstan. But that was a part of the Soviet Union anyway. But that was 2006. It was Hastings. So it's like 40 miles from London, is it? Or roughly?
Yes.
Yeah, so it was during the, I think, World Cup, France against Italy, I think. So a lot of football fans, for, American audience, soccer fans, sure, whatever. And apparently there was some conflict in the park between two groups of people. It was like the French people and Italian people, or the fans of those two teams. I'm not really sure exactly, but they were involved in some, verbal conflict. And little small group of, I call them Russian people, was just passing by. They were just completely unrelated, and somehow they ended up kicking both of those guys.
Oh wow!
I don't know why. What was the what was the segue into this particular fight. But apparently they just pass through. They somehow insert themselves into this verbal exchange, kick the asses of both of those groups, and then just left.
Incredible.
And I thought, like, wow, this is very Russian thing to do, actually.
It's almost like a peacekeeping force.
Yeah, but it was
without the
really
peace.
funny. Like, how is that even possible, though? I wouldn't be surprised if that was in Russia. If that was in Russia, it's like, yeah, whatever. But that was in UK. Especially
That's
back in
crazy.
the days, that was very bizarre to me to see something so Russian in a foreign soil.
Well, I mean, traditionally England has the worst reputation for football hooliganism
Oh, really?
abroad. Yes.
Well,
They cut
Yeah,
down
well-
on it quite a lot with like banning people from traveling during World Cups and big events. But yeah, it was pretty notorious. UK.
it was just fun. I don't know, but
I'm sure it was.
yeah. Well, apart from that, I had the first experience of tasting a sandwich in a park, because in Russia we didn't have those. Maybe to some extent, maybe.
Okay.
So we were, me and my classmate were living in a host family.
Oh, right, yeah, okay,
Yeah, we
exchange.
were receiving those triangular shaped sandwiches as our lunch, basically. And so after the school, we go to park, and I really wanted that I would have a suitcase with me, so I can open my suitcase, open up a newspaper, and have some sandwich.
Oh,
I have this weird feeling of desire of I want to experience that like you see in the movies, man.
that's
but,
an odd fantasy, but yeah, I mean, we all have them, I guess.
well, I don't know. Maybe some viewers from Russia right now can relate to that. But it's when you watch movies
Of
and you
course.
see something that you never experienced that much in our everyday life, you want to experience that. So
Oh,
that's why I
of
really
course.
wanted to have a feeling of being a regular in some pizza joint or something that I
Sure.
just I go to the doors and say, "Hey, Sergey, as usual." Yeah, okay. That was actually, I'm doing this version right now, but I'm doing with the local Montreal pizza place over the phone. So I was, prior to quarantine, I was ordering from the same pizza joint for more than 2 years every Saturday at the same time.
Okay, wow.
So they already know me, basically. When I call, it's just, the same as usual. Yeah, okay, cool.
Oh, that's nice.
And it is indeed feels nice. I don't know. A feeling of being, how you say, recognizable on this small scale for some odd
course.
reason makes me happy. I don't know. Russian
actually-
peacekeepers, yeah.
Are you doing a lot of cooking at home, or are you just getting?
Not really.
Delivery?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I used to, but since I'm a very pragmatic person, I would say, okay, what do I need? I need vegetables. I need protein. Okay, and some carbohydrates. Okay, I do rice, vegetables, and chicken. I was eating that every day for a year,
Okay.
and after
Yeah,
that, I
that's-
got so sick of it. So now I didn't do that at all. So, but because I do intermittent fasting, so I don't eat dinner on a daily basis.
Okay.
So I just order food delivery 1 per 2 days, and I have, well, basically a meal for 2 days. So money-wise, it's pretty similar. So
Right.
yeah,
Okay. That's fair enough.
I've seen some new video on your YouTube. Have I missed the corresponding streams? No, I don't do. I don't. Well, for those of you who don't know me, well, probably the English audience who will. We don't have it yet, but in the future, if we have an English audience,
Welcome
So
to the
yeah, I used to do a gaming stream in Russian on my Russian channel, and I just tried to do the same in English, but I get so bored, so I decided to completely change my approach, and that's why we have a podcast right now. So Padawan One, that's an odd nickname, but I hope I answered your question, sir. Padawan. Isn't it supposed to be with W or I'm not really
It's
sure.
a V, but it is Padawan, I guess.
Well, in a Star Wars lore, should it be
Indeed.
the W? I think. Yeah. Well, speaking of Star Wars, since we mentioned this
Yes.
huge part of the VFX industry,
Yes.
actually, I think to some extent we can say that it kickstarted the whole thing.
I'm sorry, you
So-
cut out there for a second.
Oh, really? That's not a good thing.
It's me.
Yeah.
It's my side, I think.
Okay, well, let's rewind it. So mentioning the Star Wars, which is actually probably the one that kickstarted the whole VFX thing.
Sure.
Are you a fan?
I'm a huge fan of.
Hello?
I maintain that there's only three Star Wars movies.
Juice, I think we need to rewind you as well. You just broke up for a second.
Oh,
for me.
fantastic. Well, I'll maintain my statement of that there's only 3 Star Wars movies, and the rest
so
are
the
rest are just fan movies.
The original trilogy, that's it
Yes,
for you.
correct. Yeah.
Okay. So you're not a fan of prequels, are you?
I'm not a fan of the prequel trilogy or the latest installments.
Really? Well, I mean, I would agree that
Film.
retrospectively, the original trilogy is it's still, let's be honest, all of them feels like kids movies, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But since they used a lot of practical effects for the first ones, it really feels genuine.
Oh, it does, yeah.
Yeah, especially if we compare it to the Phantom Menace.
Sure.
This is like, oh my goodness me. But I must admit, I enjoyed the Revenge of the Sith quite a bit.
Oh, that's a good one, yeah. Fairly good, let's say.
If you're not watching the outtakes later on, because the outtakes are horrible.
Well, I had a conversation with your previous guest, Ben. And he's quite a huge fan. I don't know if you didn't mention it, speak about it on the podcast, but I think he's quite a fan of The Mandalorian.
Oh yeah, well, Mandalorian is clearly very good homage turned really
Indeed.
self-sufficient TV show, and a good. But first of all, it's Jon Favreau and the I forgot the what was the name of the guy who made Clone Wars. Come on, come on, guys in chat, help us. Well, while they're helping us, I'm pretty sure I remember his name, but I'm not really sure whether it's the right name or not, and I don't want to embarrass myself, so I just pretend that I don't remember it. But yeah, I think it's. I'm curious where they're gonna go with it.
I think
Dave Filoni. Thank you very much, Dr. Ray. Dave Filoni. Exactly. Not only they did the final, I'm not really sure whether it's released or not. I think I need to check the final season of Clone Wars. Have you seen it, by the way?
I have not, unfortunately.
It's a very, very surprisingly entertaining TV show. Even though I thought it was precisely aimed only at kids, it actually was interesting to follow. Not the full feature movie Clone Wars.
Well, I'm more of a fan of the games, like the old
Old Republic.
No, the old kind of games that came out during the DOS and that kind of era of like, I don't know if you ever played it, like TIE Fighter. And Dark Forces.
Yeah. So the Dark Forces started the old Jedi Knight thing.
Indeed,
yeah. Okay, yeah. I remember that. I remember vaguely because I was playing it on my friend's parent work.
Yeah.
So that was, but I remember the lightsaber first-person view. So this is the only thing I remember from there. So
I played that game at my cousin's house before I even knew what Star Wars was, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I watched it quite late, the movies. But yeah, I think I played that game before, and it kind of it was kind of mind blowing to play an FPS. I played that before Doom.
Wow, really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's surprisingly. What about Star Wars Pod Racer?
I never had it myself, but I played it at a friend's, and it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I was surprised that the speed actually feels
it's
so
pretty great.
high. Yeah, I mean, like how? Because if you play later and Need for Speed, for example, what the mainstream audience probably experienced.
Sure.
So playing Star Wars Racer felt like this is insane. A human cannot pilot this thing, okay?
Indeed.
But apparently, after several hours in, you're being able to, and it's like, hey, I'm not human, I'm better. Cool.
It's very responsive, the controls. So
yeah,
I think that's a huge part of it.
Damn. Now we swimming down the memory lane, and Jedi Knight is, I think, by far Jedi Knight, Jedi I think Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast was one of my favorites.
That is probably the best one. I think I have
Kyle Katarn.
I have a soft spot for the very first one. You know, the sprites. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, probably Outcast is probably the best of the bunch.
I still remember some quotes from it. Kyle, Jan, greetings. Mon Mothma, Kyle was just talking about you. No doubt. I have troubling information about your mission on Khajiit. I don't like when you say troubling. Yeah. The Valley of the Jedi? Reborn? Oh my god, we're such a nerds.
AT-88.
What?
It has the robot. Is that AT-88, isn't it? The assassin robot. Oh no, that's the game before.
No. Yeah. That was the another thing, because there was no assassin bots in a Jedi Knight, but the Jedi. Well, Star Wars: The Knight of the Old Republic. You mean?
No, it's the because you have Dark Forces, and then Dark Forces 2, Jedi Knight. That's the one with the robot, and then you have Jedi Outcast.
Ah, okay. Well, maybe I missed the second part because I thought the second part is Jedi Outcast basically. But okay. Well, maybe
that's the third.
I need to revisit that. Well, this is the whole trilogy, or not trilogy, but the sequel naming thing. It's like why
really
do you
bad,
do that?
Yeah.
It's like Alien, then you have Aliens, which means, and then it's like Alien 3. Okay, we cannot call it Aliens, so we probably have to stick to something more, and then it's got Alien Resurrection. So you have to know the exact order before you watch them, otherwise it's going to be confusing.
Well, don't even go to the Resident Evil series then.
I won't, because I'm not a fan.
But I don't know if you've seen their naming. It's like Resident Evil Apocalypse, Retribution.
It's like, let's pick the most generic names
it is.
of the sequels that we can possibly imagine.
Let me just read them out, because...
Oh man, okay. Should I strap myself in to make sure I stay in my chair?
Well, let me read them out of order, and you can try and figure out which is which.
What do you mean? If there's no digits, there's no chance for me to know.
Well, there's a bit of a hint.
Oh, okay, let's go.
So Resident Evil Extinction, Resident Evil Afterlife,
okay,
Resident Evil Apocalypse,
okay,
Resident Evil Retribution.
Okay, hold right there. So
wait, there's more.
But I need to.
Then you've just got Resident Evil, just that, and then Resident Evil: The Final Chapter. There's two are easy.
Well, I know actually from being in the VFX, I know that Final Chapter not necessarily is the final movie. Could be very easily be something else.
That's true. This is the one occasion.
Yeah, let's follow the logic here. So there was an Extinction Afterlife, right?
Mm-hmm. Extinction is different.
Probably Apocalypse started the extinction. After the extinction, when everybody is extinct, there should be Afterlife.
Oh my god, he's so good.
And
are you googling this?
No. I'm just I'm operating with logic. And then we have what? Resident Evil and Final Chapter, right?
But no, you got Retribution in there somewhere.
Retribution. Oh Jesus. Well, we cannot retribute.
Keep going with it.
Really? But
keep going with your thought.
We cannot retribute when everybody is dead. But can we retribute somebody from Afterlife?
There's no sense to this.
Well, let's go then Retribution and Afterlife. There we go. Well, no, Retribution, Final Chapter.
Oh, there you go. You got it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm brilliant. Okay.
Congrats.
Cool. Do I have a prize?
Oh, you get to watch all the movies back to back.
No, I'm good.
In the correct order.
Oh, dude, no. Actually, speaking of, since you mentioned the Old Republic, I'm really was looking forward to the movies or TV shows that were, set in the time of the Old Republic. But I'm not really sure. So they give it to the guys from Game of Thrones. I forgot their names, unfortunately.
Oh, the D&D.
Yes, the infamous now.
Infamous D&D, yeah.
Yeah. I've said. Wait. First one is Wise, wasn't it? Brainioff and Wise. No, wait.
Yeah, Benioff and David
What?
Benioff and Daniel Weiss, I think.
Yeah, okay, so there you go. But apparently they backed out of this project.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because at least to my knowledge, I have no idea whether it's true at the
Well,
moment
I
or
wouldn't
not.
be surprised if the Lucasfilm put the brakes on pretty much everything.
Yeah, but it was. I mean, have you played the Old Republic games?
I played the original like not
What?
MMO, but the original single player games.
Ah, so the Knights of the Old Republic.
The Knights of the Old Republic, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, the MMO was kind of okay. I would say. I mean, if we throw out all the like, hey, kill 10 bad guys and come back to me, part of the gameplay, that was really nice because they actually voiced all the dialogues in the game. That's a tremendous job. Yeah. So imagine like we have 4 classes in every faction, and then you have voiced all the quests throughout all the factions for every character.
Wow.
This is an insane job. But yeah. That was pretty nice, but yeah, obviously the Knights of the Old Republic started this whole thing. I just remember one day the friend of mine, the classmate at the time, so I just went to his place and he launched this game. It's like, what is that? And if you remember, and the guys who listen, the Sith armor, this chrome metal plates. Oh, dude, that was so slick. I was like, I want that. I don't care if you need to be heavy armored or is it a light armor. I don't care. I just want that. I want that in my life. Okay. That was amazing. Actually, Resident Evil in Russian names has numbers. Oh wow. Well, good for Russian localization then.
That's maybe a sensible way to go.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this is the way to attract the audience, because if audience have no idea what we're looking at, that would be troublesome for them. It's like, but then on the other hand, if people never saw the previous movies and then it's like, this summer, Resident Evil 5. And we're like, well, I never seen the previous one. Should I even be bothered going on this one? But apparently they have little from, one another.
Having watched them all through, there is very little... consistent story running through them all. It's pretty random, the events, so they have a reset button every time the new movie starts.
All right. Yeah. That's the way to go. I mean, disregard everything we've done previously. Let's
pretty much
all over again. I don't know. Well, I was never a fan of, to be honest. I think the Star Wars is the only franchise that was very involved in. Although at the time of first Harry Potter movies, I would say I'd probably be a bit, dedicated to watching a lot of them, because I read the books, and that was at the time when I was in the high school, so that was exactly target audience basically.
Right.
So watching that was I wasn't obsessed, but I was heavily into that. I know all the spells, I know all the characters, even though in Russian localization some of them were slightly, changed the names. So yeah. But at the time I wasn't bothered with English names anyway, so yeah. Well, I'm not really sure whether you guys, because you're being from UK, probably you couldn't avoid that particular franchise.
Yeah, no. I mean, it was pretty huge, obviously, at the time. Still is, I guess. I was never that into it, to be honest. I was kind of more of a Lord of the Rings guy.
Oh, yeah, so...
It's quite different.
For some reason, I remember the South Park episode when they have the... I don't recall what was the name of the episode, but remember when they misplaced the Lord of the Rings VHS tape? And that began the whole quest of returning the tape.
Oh, right, yes.
And I think at some point they mentioned Harry Potter, and Cartman wasn't particularly a fan of it, and he expressed his thoughts right away, like he's always done.
Padawan is saying my favorite movie about evil is Constantine. I just watched that again a few weeks ago. It's a brilliant movie.
My name is John Constantine. I think this is the only movie where Keanu Reeves doesn't sound like completely flat and have no personality, because it's kind of you can kind of imagine, okay, he sees all those
he's seen a
awful
lot
beings. Yeah, it's like he doesn't care anymore. He's like completely.
He's also killed himself, and he knows he's going
Yeah.
straight to hell. So
Yeah, it kind of brings the whole mood down a bit for him.
a little bit, yeah.
But he's a bit like a Witcher, basically. So I think to some extent,
He
it's like
is, yeah, true.
emotionless. Like, I'm Keanu Reeves, the Witcher.
Oh,
I
we
need
could
to find Siri.
segue into The Witcher.
Oh God. Okay, so this is gonna be tricky because we have this conversation with Ben several times, and we have very, let's just say, not opposite, but we're very devoted to our personal opinions about this. Well, it depends whether you're talking about the video game, the books, or the TV show.
I'm going to talk about the TV show because that's the one I've interacted with the most, let's say.
If I have to choose between good and better. What was that? The quote? If I have to. If I have to choose between bigger and lesser evil, I'd rather not to choose at all. But in this particular scenario, I would definitely choose the game, not
I can
a
imagine.
TV show.
Basically, I'm not that great with these open world like Skyrim. I just find them too daunting to get into, basically.
Oh,
So
really?
I never really, I never tackled Witcher. But yeah, I've watched the TV show, obviously, with the mixed reactions.
Well, that's my point.
Mostly positive, but
I was. So for me, my experience started with Witcher 3 because prior to that, I have no idea what that is.
Okay.
And me buying, I would say compulsorily. Jesus, this is such a strong, difficult word for Russian. Compulsorily, obligated to finish all the tasks, all the missions, find all the treasures. So I beat this game twice like that.
Oh, wow.
After that, I got into the books.
Okay.
And since they claim that the TV show is based on books, I have very straightforward vision of the books already while getting into the TV show. So I wasn't particularly happy with it.
I can imagine.
Some of the bits worked nicely. So, but most of them, I don't know.
How do you feel about Henry? That's the.
Well, he is a gamer, right? So he played the Witcher games as well, and the fact that he actually copies the voice actor, from the game, that was really fun to see. But,
sure.
But because of that, I think he kind of limited him in terms of actual portrayal of the character. Mm-hmm. So he got stuck in the
cliche.
Yeah, well, it's not a cliche, but he got stuck in the vision of somebody else's character.
Okay,
basically.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure he could he contributed something. I think he could have, but he didn't because of that mindset of his. Like, I don't want to upset the gamers, and I like the game myself, so let's just do it that way.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I mean that's admirable, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I think that the biggest. I really like the episode. Have you saw all the
yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I like the episode when he actually have to turn the daughter of the what was that? Was it the count or duke or whatever? I forgot. From the monster to actual. Human.
Yes. Yeah.
That episode was really good. So not only the practical effects, but the setting,
and
the visual effects. Yeah. Choreography, brilliant. Yeah. But a lot of episodes, I was just like, what are they doing there?
I mean, I don't know if you felt this, but the timeline for me was,
they went
confused.
with this weird thing of, hey, this is actually a flashback, but we're not gonna tell you that.
And we're not gonna age anyone, so everyone looks the same age.
Yeah, and you see this guy who was murdered already, and the personality was assumed by a shapeshifter.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait a second, is he? Why? What a? Okay, I don't care then.
Yeah, it's a muddled mess. But
it was a questionable decision, very questionable.
Sure.
But overall, I would say 6 out of 10 for me.
Okay, so just above average.
Yeah. Well, I didn't like the VFX in some of the parts was a bit horrible. I don't want to upset anybody, but. Especially the king in the forest scenes. Oh my god.
The dragon.
Well, forget about dragon. Dragon is a CG that you have to model it and render it. But the forest part, when you have the lens flare right in the camera that occupies like 60% of a screen, and you can tell this is a green screen for sure. This is why I was like, you could have you just went to the forest and set up a couple of lights and I don't know.
Yeah, that is unfortunate.
Because with those types of shows, the more genuine you can go with the practical effects, the better it will look.
Of course.
So, going with the VFX for this particular approach, I'm not really sure.
Budget, maybe.
Oh, that's it? Because I thought you were gonna start some counter argument, and that's it. It's died out. I still hear myself for some reason. Do you adjust it?
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. Because I don't know. I mean, I got used to hearing myself, but it sometimes feels really odd.
Is it better now?
I think so. Yeah, for now.
Okay,
let's read the chat real quick. I got an idea for a segment. Translate Russian localized movie titles to your friends and let them guess the original title. Oh man, that's actually a good one. Okay, how do we do that? Let me.
Oh yes, I know from having friends in Italian that Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind has an interesting translation.
Oh, we actually, for this particular movie, we have pretty straightforward translation, so you would have guessed it right away.
Okay.
But let's go.
Worth a shot.
Yeah, let's go. I don't know, popular TV shows maybe? Although I'm not really sure whether... No, we have to go with actually old movies because... Okay, guys, let's do it that way. You put the names in Russian for me in the chat, and I'm gonna translate them.
All right.
Because Jules wouldn't be able to translate them anyway, and
this is true.
I don't want to search myself because it will just take some time.
Here's audio of me searching on Google.
Well, the first one will be pretty easy, I think, because basically that's the description of the movie. But okay, the first one is a bachelor party in Vegas.
Oh, Hangover.
Yeah, see, that's very easy. The second one, so I'm not really sure how to translate that properly because I don't know the name. I know the name of the movie, but let's actually, this one will be translated by Google for you. Because I don't want to know. Okay, yeah, Big Jackpot.
Big Jackpot.
Yeah. Or Big Scoop or whatever you can call it.
Big Scoop.
Yeah, so apparently it involves something to do with money.
A casino?
That was a nice guess, but no. Okay, I'll give you 2 more attempts and then we're gonna switch to another one. Come on.
I'm not sure.
Okay, you give up, basically.
I give up.
This movie was Snatch.
Snatch. Oh, I'll never get that.
Yeah.
I mean, snatch is a
well, that's
very
the thing.
Meaning.
It's a verb, right? And we couldn't translate it probably in Russia to the point that audience will realize, yeah, that's probably something I want to see.
Sure. Well, snatch has a dual meaning, but one of the meanings I won't go into.
Yeah, that's my point. Okay, let's go. Okay. I just need to know that I'm... Okay, this one probably gonna be easy, but...
Well, let's see.
Cold Heart.
Cold Heart.
Yeah. I give you a hint. It's the meaning is literal.
Is little what?
Literal. It's not figurative. It's literal. Jesus Christ. Literal. Yeah.
Cold Heart.
Yeah. So you need to imagine somebody with a cold heart, obviously.
Somebody's dead.
Well, I mean, come on. This person clearly have to be alive, and maybe it's involved some sort of magic. Come on, let's go. Jesus, this
Is it Game of Thrones?
What? Wow, that's actually a good choice, but no. But that's the thing. You changed the priorities of Game of Thrones because Game of Thrones was about the thrones, right?
That's true.
The White Walkers was kind of, secondary objective, so to speak. But in this example, this is actually the main thing that is all about.
It's pretty.
I'll give you a hint, and you probably guess right away. It's a cartoon.
Oh God.
Come on,
Is
you
it
know this.
Ghost in the Shell?
What? Oh, I have. How is that even?
She's a robot.
Yeah, but okay, all right. Well, she's not a robot. She's a cyborg.
Yeah, but she's got a body of a robot.
Okay.
Cold
Well,
heart.
I mean, I feel it's like Rock Busters.
You said literal.
Yeah, but okay. It was Frozen, all right.
Oh, for God's sake! If Frozen is not on my mind.
But yeah, this is the beauty of translating into Russian.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, let's do a couple more, and I think we'll switch to something else. So this is okay. How to properly form that? It's a TV show, okay?
Okay.
It was very popular at the time. Stay Alive. Or To Survive.
Oh, The Walking Dead.
No. I say it was quite popular a while ago, so it's not that recent.
Okay.
You can
Stay
ask me
Alive.
some questions, and I'll give you hints based on those.
Is it
questions.
American?
Yes.
It's not X-Files, is it?
No. I don't really understand the logic though.
No, because I'm trying to think of Stay Alive.
Stay Alive, yeah, To Survive. If you want a hint, I'll give you a hint.
Give me a hint, yeah.
It might involve some plane crash.
Oh, Lost.
Yes. Okay. That was a big hint,
Lost.
I think.
Wait, Stay Alive and Lost? I mean,
Yeah, that's in Russian translation. That meaning is basically stay alive
okay.
or to survive or survivors. I don't know. You can call it that way.
This is harder than it should be, perhaps.
Yeah, and Mr. Oleg. Oh, I am Oleg. I think I'll take that one as the final one. So the last one for you is the beginning or the origin. That's the name if you translate it
origin.
just from or the beginning.
Is it a movie?
Yes.
The beginning.
Yes.
That sounds pretty epic.
It is. It was quite an epic movie. One can say that the sound design sounds extremely epic, unnecessarily epic. A lot of movies.
Is it a recent movie? Like 10 years?
Let me just double check. Yes, it's exactly 10 years actually. A lot of movies borrowed this epic sound effect from this movie.
Oh, I want to say Interstellar, but that's not 10 years ago.
No, it's not. But
Is it
first.
by the same director?
Yes.
Oh, Batman Begins. Is it?
Good guess, but no, because there's no Batman. But you are right. You get the first letter correctly. You get the director correctly. Come on.
Oh God. What else could it be?
I give you a hint, but you will guess it right away. I'm afraid to give you a hint, but this actor received an Oscar. A long-awaited one. Oh, come on, dude. You should have just...
Yeah. It's not happening for me right now.
Okay, the last question. In order for you to guess that movie, I need to get inside your mind and make sure you think about it.
Okay.
This is the hint. That was the hint.
Oh.
This is horrible.
It's Inception.
Yes.
I didn't think it was 10 years old.
It's 10 years old,
What?
yeah. It was 2010.
Oh my god.
Wow, that was an
was
interesting
brutal.
that was
That was-
interesting segment. I think we're gonna
That
go
was brutal.
I think I like this one. I think I'll try to do this with every guest we'll get so far because
It's
this
stressful.
is amazing. Yeah, but it's really fun though. 'Cause,
For your viewers, maybe.
but it's like, I think for those of you who don't speak Russian, obviously you would have been able to see the clues in the chat. But guessing together with Jules, apart from this, it's a cool name for another show actually. Guessing together with Jules, but
Well,
think
it
would
seems
be-
like you could get some mileage out of it because I'm
Yeah.
not getting them right away.
yeah, it's quite challenging though. But we can do it like Rockbusters from Carl Pilkington. You know, I'll do a hint, the cryptic clue.
Yeah, I think we need the clues.
Yeah. So I'll work on it next time so that we can go through this show particularly. Okay, guys, do we have any other questions? Because I think I'm running out of ideas so far. Jules, do you have anything you want to mention or talk about?
Not off the top of my head.
Yeah, exactly. So
I
my
actually-
point. What?
I would ask, have you heard of Dwarf Fortress?
Yes, I did.
Have you
I never
played
played it, but
Okay.
I've heard of it. I
Oh,
can
it's just-
picture it easily.
It's just worth a mention, just like as an experiment in game design. I don't know.
Oh,
I'm sure you've kind of like familiar with it a bit.
Yeah.
but
I
just-
mean, it's too. The size of the everything is kind of concern to me. I don't like very small details. That's why I don't play Factorio or something,
Sure.
in a similar matter.
Well, you need to watch like tutorial videos just to play the game.
Yeah, well, that's my point. I'm not a big fan of those. Even though I watch the tutorials for most of the game that has some, elements
Sure.
of character building that you can, screw up rather quickly. So I prefer
Sure.
to know prior to my, beginning of my experience with this particular game. Inception, is it a rare word? Is it a synonym for beginning? It is to some degree, but come on,
Yeah.
English language is a complicated one as well as Russian. So I think the problem is because if you go with the Russian meaning for inception right away, it's going to be connected with the coitus right away
Yeah.
and sexual act, and that was not the point of the movie. So I think this is why the Russian marketing company decided to go, let's not translate it in that way, because people wouldn't come to this movie
Yeah.
particularly, or we have very specific audience targeted. Okay, I'm up for this night. Let's go. So yeah.
That would be a very different movie.
Yeah, you have to be a person of deviant taste to be particularly interested in this.
Yeah. I did. You guys were talking about Darkest Dungeon, right?
Oh, dude, yeah.
You a
It's
fan?
really funny that you really grasp the how you say the. Jesus, I forgot how you. What is the word? The link, the
link, yeah.
But it's not the link. It's not an Easter egg. Okay, never mind. Yeah, we talked about Darkest Dungeon. I played it a while ago. Actually, I started playing it when it was early access at the time.
Yeah, I think I as well. I mean, I got pretty far in it, but then it just became savagely difficult.
Oh yeah, I mean, the narrator doesn't help at all when you losing your man. And it's like, oh no, I know this. Please stop talking to me. Actually, probably you can disable that,
But you get really attached to your characters, and then they just start getting wiped out. It's pretty brutal.
yeah. But I mean, if at the point when you start being pragmatic and you like strategically give away your character in order for a majority to survive, that is when you become really great at this game. It's like cold-hearted bastard who doesn't care about their people, but just the goal. The goal is of most importance. Oh
of
man.
course.
Okay, we probably have the last one from Biz for you. Tough Nut. That's the name of the movie, basically.
Tough Nut.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's a fairly old movie. I would even say Christmas movie.
Oh, Die Hard?
Yes. Okay, that
Oh,
was.
you gave it
that
away
was
with
a
a Christmas.
big clue. Yeah, big clue. I'm sorry.
No, but I would never have guessed that without that.
Yeah. Well, I probably would start it like with terrorists and a German
Okay.
villain and.
The Nakatomi building.
Oh no, you one of them, aren't you? Yeah. Okay.
What a classic.
Oh man, yeah. I'll probably rewatch it today even. I don't know. I'm kind of hyped now because
Or Constantine.
well, Constantine I remember too good.
Too well. Okay.
Yeah, too well. So, but Die Hard probably, because at the time when the people casually doing coke in the workplace.
Oh yeah.
Good times. Good
Good
times.
times. It's just like back at work, right?
Well, what?
What?
Sure. I'm sorry, you're breaking up. And that was the last time we heard of Jules.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, that's a really nice track by Racer X.
Hmm.
But okay, guys, if you don't have any further questions for our guest today, I think we're gonna wrap this up. Gradually, calm ourselves down, breathe in, breathe out, and make sure that we cover all the topics that we wanted today. But I think it is, because basically, I think the best way to go about it is like when the conversation is flowing freely, you don't need to manually, divert it to any particular subject. It's nice. And then when it's kind of start to dragging along, that's when you have to stop, and you can continue at a later date, with more stuff to talk about. You can talk about tech side, about work, what do you use and what to do. Not really, because, well, some of the stuff is NDA. We cannot talk about that. But I think it's pretty straightforward. You can just Google it, like what software is being used in VFX, and you'll get right away.
It's pretty off-the-shelf stuff. So
yeah, it's I would say it's a standard at this
within
point.
reason.
Yeah, so roughly 4 pieces of software I think every studio will use to some extent, and then you have some deviations, but they're still pretty straightforward on everybody's aim. Let's just put it that way. So I guess that's it. That's it. We're done. So we'll thank our audience. Hopefully we're gonna put this video up on YouTube and even LinkedIn, and I'll still maintain my employment after that. That will be great.
We haven't overstepped our boundaries, I believe.
No, but I mean, maybe it's like I don't like this guy anymore. So we'll see about that, but hopefully everybody will like it. So subscribe if you want to hear more. I will be happy to have Jules again at some point. We'll see how it goes. And thank you, Jules, for joining me today. That was fun, sir.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was nice. Guys in the chat, see you next time. Thank you very much. And please don't get sick, okay? Have a good one. Bye-bye.